What's up, guys? It is UFC Vegas 102. Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodrigues, and I'm going to break it down for you. So without further ado, let's bust it wide open. The first fight is going to be Walter Walker versus Dontel Mays. This one is the battle of who sucks more. One guy does nothing but wrestle sloppily, if that's even a word, and the other guy does nothing but strike, kind of sloppy as well. I think I'm going to go with Walter Walker. I think they are setting up Dontel Mays to lose because they know he has some of the worst grappling, not just in the division, but in the UFC. So, yeah, I'm going to take Walter Walker. Then we have Michael Morales versus Elijah Smith. Elijah Smith is a newcomer to the UFC. I believe he's related to Gilbert Smith, who was, I think he had one or two fights maybe on the Ultimate Fighter back in the day. Definitely have seen the guy before associated with the UFC name somewhere. I don't think he won those. I don't think he was too good as far as UFC competition goes. But that doesn't say much about his son. This kid looks promising, looks really good. I think he is already a bottom UFC level talent and has so much room to grow. I do feel like he's being pushed a little bit too soon. He's only like 22, maybe 23. And I'm not saying that Vince Morales is a world beater and is somebody that is too big a step up in competition for Elijah. But Morales has submissions, decisions, and knockouts on his record. He has a very wide range of experience and has fought a lot of guys that would be tougher than anyone Elijah Smith has fought. I am pretty tentative on this, and I may flip. We'll see what I put out tomorrow when I put out my official picks. But looking at it now, I think I am going to take Vince Morales. If he's getting wrestled a lot, he can get that submission. His striking should be good enough to where he can stay safe and maybe even outpoint Elijah Smith. And I wonder about Elijah Smith in the third round. So, I think the safe bet is probably to pick Elijah Smith. But, I can't do it. Not right now. I think it's just a little bit too much, a little bit too soon. Hope I'm wrong, but I'm going with Vince Morales. We have Jacqueline Cavalcante. Jacqueline Cavalcante is taking on Julian Avila, and I don't really care for Julian Avila. Jacqueline Cavalcante is pretty good. She probably is going to take her to a decision, but it'll be a decision that she wins. I do have Cavalcante in this fight, and that's really all I have to say about this one. Ismail Bonfim versus Nazim Sadikov is next up. And I'm going to go with Ismail Bonfim. I believe that he's just got a little bit more experience, a little bit more heart, and a little bit better cardio. I have seen Nazim Sadikov fade or quit on himself a little bit in the third round. He doesn't want to do that against Ismail Bonfim. I like both these guys, especially Nazim Sadikov, to be honest, but I'm just not overall impressed with this game. And I think a guy like Ismail Bonfim will get the win here. Then we got Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon was supposed to fight Kawhi Fernandez, but he pulled out. So I'm just finding out about this now, but Mashrabjon Ruzaboyev, who is the brother of Nursultan, is going to step in. I don't have a lot of information on this because I just found out, so take this with a grain of salt. But for the sake of picks, this is the first look, right? And just going off my first look at this fight announcement, I think that the odds are correct. I do think that Jared Gordon is a favorite here, and I do believe he should win. Because Ruzaboyev has fought absolutely nobody. And even after he had 5, 10, almost, 12 fights, he was fighting nobodies. He was fighting guys with 0 records, 0-0. You know what I mean? And then one guy was a 0-1 or something like that. And actually took him to a decision. If you go back and look at what Jared Gordon did when he was on the come up, it's way different, man. I think this guy's record is extremely padded, and I think we're going to see that when he steps in the cage with Jared Gordon, who's a tough guy. who, arguably beat Hack Parast. I thought he did. I'd have to go back and watch it, but I remember thinking that he should have won that fight. Uh, yeah, it was a split. Yeah, I thought Hack Parast lost. I thought Jerry Gordon got robbed. Uh, I felt he got robbed in the Paddy Pimblett fight too. And he was beating Bobby Green until the no contest. He has some of the worst luck in the UFC, which is one reason I did put a little sprinkle on Ruziboyev here. I don't advise it. I'm an idiot, but I'm gonna be an idiot on my own time. I won't give that pick out for nobody because I do think Jared Gordon is gonna win this fight. But just in case, man, because of the fact that Jared Gordon has such bad luck in the UFC, how do I know something crazy is not going to happen again? So I had to put a little bit on Ruziboyev, but I do not recommend it. Based off of his record and the quick little highlights that I have seen, I don't think he's very good. And I think that Jared Gordon is going to walk through him. He'll probably gas after the first or something like that. Especially with it being on short notice, very short notice. Especially with it being a guy that hasn't fought in like almost 2 years. So yeah, Jared Gordon all the way. And then we have Gabriel Bonfim versus Chaos Williams. I originally took Chaos Williams. Chaos Williams throws heat. He's not an easy guy to take down. He can get back to his feet pretty easy. Bonfim, I don't think, is going to have more power or probably even be a better striker than Chaos Williams. I feel like Bonfim is going to tire himself out in the second, trying to keep Williams down. And I think that he may have some trouble there. I believe that Williams could hit Bonfim with a late shot and put him away. But I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to go with Bonfim because I do think that Bonfim can work his game, can contend enough in the striking, stay out of danger, put Chaos where he wants him, and eke out a close decision, especially when he seems to be, somebody the UFC is really pushing. And the submission could be live. I don't know, but I'm gonna lean Bonfim. Then we have Rafael Estevam versus Jesus Aguilar. This is a really close fight. I think any guy can win. I like Jesus Aguilar at those odds, but I'm gonna go with Rafael Estevam. I think he's just more dangerous, and it just really comes down to that. You've got to watch out for the submissions of Jesus Aguilar. He's pretty sneaky and pretty crafty down there. But Rafael Estevam is pretty good at those as well, and I think he can survive. And if not, maybe even submit Jesus Aguilar. Jesus Aguilar's got pretty short arms. I also don't think he's as good a striker as Estevam. But neither one of these guys are going to blow your mind with that. But let's stick with Estevam. I think he can probably get a pretty good lead in the scorecards and ultimately get a decision. Then we got Angela Hill versus Caitlin Souza. Caitlin Souza is going to be my live dog of the card, at least so far. I don't see how Angela Hill beats her. Angela Hill can always win because she's very vet savvy. She knows how to play the game as far as scoring goes. And she very well, is going to be live in this fight. But I'm pretty confident that the power and the wrestling game of Souza is going to have her tentative to throw on the feet, have her backing up more, and cost her every round. And I believe Souza's a strong dog here, so I will take her. Then we have Rodolfo Vieira versus Andre Petroski. This one is tough, man. I wouldn't bet on it. I'd stay away from it, to be honest. But I'm lying to you because I did already put a bet on it. But I kind of regret it a little because I look further into it and I do see that it is actually pretty close. But Petroski's a guy I can't trust. And you guys know what I feel about guys I can't trust. I can't trust them. So I got to go with Vieira. Vieira seems a little more durable, a little more trustworthy to me at this stage of the game. So I will take Rodolfo Vieira. And then we got Edmund Shabazian versus Dylan Budka. Dylan Budka. I skipped one. I'm sorry. We got Jose Delgado versus Connor Matthews. I skipped the whole fight here. That threw me off. My bad. Jose Delgado. Jose Delgado shows a lot of promise. Great striking. I think his wrestling defense is pretty good. Connor Matthews is kind of a meat and potatoes guy. Does everything okay. I don't think he'll be a washout by any means. I think in the right matches, he can contend in the UFC, but I don't think this is the right match for him. I'm going to go with Jose Delgado. Sorry, back to where we were. Edmund Shabazian versus Dylan Bunka. Dylan Bunka can definitely smother Edmund, tire him out, even finish him with ground and pound or you know how an Edmund fight goes. Edmund Shabazian always comes out with that storm in the first round, usually can hurt you and put you out. And if he can hurt you and put you out, he fades, whether he's getting submitted or knocked out or finished himself in some degree. Shabazian has only lost, I think, one decision in the UFC, or maybe period. So, you know, there's a lot of finishes when this guy fights. And Dylan Bunka is a pretty solid wrestler, so they say, but I haven't seen it a lot. So I can't put enough faith in that. On top of that, he's not really a finisher. So outside of Edmund screwing himself like he tends to do, I think Edmund Shabazian will get a first round finish here, or at least is going to do enough to win this fight. If you want to bet on it, that's a little dicey because you know how Edmund is. But your boy here, you know, we like it dicey. So we went ahead and put one on Edmund Shabazian, and I feel like he'll get it done. Then we got Calvin Kattar versus Yusuf Zalal. I don't like these odds. I think that Calvin Kattar and Yusuf Zalal is a much closer fight than people will make it out to be. But we see a trending. We see Zalal is trending. We see Kattar is going down. And I like the momentum of Zalal. And I like that, you know, he seems to be much improved. And Calvin Kattar seems to be on the decline. And Zalal likes to wrestle a little bit more now. That is going to be a problem for Kattar because the guy can't wrestle. And until you show me you can, you know, I'm off the train, brother. I'm sorry. So I just can't pick him here. But it's going to be a hell of a fight. And then we got Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodrigues. I took Gregory Rodrigues early. And now I feel like I'm going to flip. Because Gregory Rodrigues is a guy that's going to hurt you in the first round, first half of the fight. But I don't think he has the best gas tank. Not to compete with Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier can fight all 5 rounds. He carries his power pretty late. I do think his power is a little overrated. But Gregory Rodrigues has also shown to be a bit chinny. I think it's a close fight, and I'm not mad at whoever you have. But honestly, I really think at those odds, with Jared Cannonier being the dog, it's worth the squeeze for me. So I'm going to take Jared Cannonier in this fight. And it is what it is. We'll see if I flip, if I flop. You know how it is. Tomorrow, I'll put out my official picks. We'll put out a couple bets, and we'll talk a little bit more about this card. There are some good fights on here, just not a lot of good names. But it's going to be a good card regardless, and we're going to get paid. So with that being said, I appreciate the love, appreciate the hate. I appreciate the discourse. Let me know who you have down below. Remember to follow me, share this. You know, check me out on Facebook. Check me out here on TikTok, here on YouTube. And anywhere you can, we're on all the platforms. We're going to keep bringing it to you this year. And we're going to do big numbers, better numbers than last year. So just stick with me, and let's get paid, y'all. Toodles.